Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Silicon Valley Brahmakumaris, Vitamins for Smart Parenting. I'm Meghna, your host for this program. We'll get started with meditation, but I'll just share my screen before we do that. It's time to get some real rest for the mind and the body. So, for a few minutes, let's move away from home, work, people, past. Let go of everything because it's time to pay regard to the most precious being, I, the soul. I am a pure, fragrant, and living energy. I am the creator of peace, love, and happiness. And I, the creator, is abundant in peace, love, and happiness. At every moment, I can choose to create peaceful thoughts and experience peace. But when I choose to create thoughts filled with irritation, frustration, and anger, it's like holding fireball in my hand. I am looking at others and thinking they deserve my anger. But do I deserve to be burned too? Negative thoughts burn me internally, damage the body internally, ruin the relationship and work externally. I, the wise being, chooses to create acceptance of the reality even when it is dark and ugly. It is the way it is. When I embrace the reality, I automatically feel peaceful, and that peace triggers a solution in my mind, a solution that resolves the problem. Anger fixes nothing but breaks everything. And peace heals and fixes everything. I, the peaceful being, chooses to remain calm because I am a child of ocean of peace. I come from the land of peace. Peace is my original religion, and peace is innate to me. I am a peaceful being. Welcome everyone once again to Smart Vitamins for Smart Parenting. Let's get started today. We're going to be covering the deficiency bondage. So vitamins for deficiency bondage. So today we are focusing on the letter B. And I think this picture pretty much tells the story that when does the bondage get created, right? When we feel a lot of pressure on ourselves, we feel as if we don't even have space to move, space to breathe, space to relax, right? And that is when everything feels like a bondage. Yeah, please go ahead, Meenal. Did you have a question? All right,
No,
looks like it.
I don't have a question. It was just by mistake.
Oh, no problem. So if you can all please mute yourself when you're not talking, I would appreciate that. So let's start off by, I'll try to cover this material a little faster today so that you all get chance to ask the questions and we get more time to spend on questions as well. So let me try to finish. I didn't prepare too many slides mainly for that reason because last time I felt we didn't get too much time. Feel free to also use that last time when we have those last 15 minutes. Let's use it for anger as well if you have any questions related to that or this particular topic, right? So what is really bondage? The reason this is beautifully highlighted is because at Brahma Kumaris, we are taught about this beautiful word, which is bond, right? Bond is a very beautiful word. And when this age is added to it, it becomes literally like a prison, right? So bondage, The bond is beautiful. So, a parent child is a beautiful relationship, the most precious bond. Yet, at times, it feels like a bondage. Why, right? And literally, if we think about it, what is a bondage? It is a bondage is nothing but a feeling that I am very, very restricted. I can't do what I want to really do. And whatever I am doing is not giving me any joy or sense of accomplishment. So I am feeling like a servant, like a slave who's just being moved around from one thing to another. So that is why there is no sense of joy at all, right? A person who is in a prison cannot really feel that real joy. So, when does this parenting become a bondage, from a bond to bondage? We will talk about that in today's class. Sorry, can you please mute yourself if you're not talking? Thank you. Where is the bondage? It is indeed, we might think, this is all happening because of the kids, because of the partner, because of work and so on. We might keep thinking like that. But I feel it's important to acknowledge that this bondage is being created internally. Sorry, I think I'm just going to mute all of you before we start doing, because I'm seeing a lot of disturbance. Um, okay, I think everyone is muted. Sorry about that. So, the bondage is indeed being created internally. So, depending upon certain circumstances, either too much of work pressure or too many challenges, we start creating these thoughts that my life has all become about work, 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 kids, 24 by 7 I'm doing, yet nobody is appreciating, nobody is recognizing. I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, I don't want to do all these things, but yet I am tired. So, we are creating these thoughts, but many times what happens is that you know it is an internal creation through the thoughts. So, Meenal, I would appreciate if you could hold on till the end. I'm seeing you raising a hand and it is distracting, so I would appreciate if you're able to hold on till the end. And then a lot of times, for every person this is different. We might see many people in the same situation and they seem to be feeling connected to the family in that same situation, whereas another person might be complaining and crying. They are feeling like a bondage. So indeed, if it was external, the bondage was external, somebody else is causing it, then the experience would be the same. But same situation, two parents are feeling differently, it's an indication that this bondage is being created in the mind and it's not external. Um, to understand root cause of the bondage, right, there are actually multiple reasons for it. In the interest of time and not to expand the scope and make it very complicated, we just chose two kind of root causes, right? Always important to understand the root cause rather than trying to treat the symptoms. So when we think the root cause of me losing my freedom is either work or kids being very young or this cooking or cleaning, whatever that might be, that is just a symptom. And if I don't address the root cause, so for some time I will feel as if I'm free. Okay, I got rid of cooking, I got rid of cleaning, I got rid of this. So now I'm feeling free, but I only treated the symptom. Something else will come in my life externally, and again I'll start creating the bondage internally. So it's really good to understand the root cause so that we can get rid of it at the crux, right? Otherwise, it keeps reappearing. So there are two reasons that we chose here. Like I said, there are many more, but it's even these two are quite big ones. So even if these we can take care, we will feel a lot more light and free, and the relationship will feel like a beautiful bond, right? So one is the burden of responsibilities. Indeed, parenting is not something that comes with no work at all, right? Yes, it is a responsibility, and it can be a fun responsibility, but it does require a lot of effort. There is no doubt about it. But sometimes when we start blaming others for this tough life, it starts feeling very, very suffocating. But when we in this burden of responsibilities becomes lighter when we ask these questions, which is who chose to be a parent? Did the kids decide, hey, bring me to this world? No, we decided to bring them. So I need to acknowledge that I wanted to be a parent. I chose to be a parent, parent of one, two, or more. I chose. This is very important because each of these questions brings ownership and responsibility back. And whenever we take the responsibility, solutions start appearing. And when we blame, we are stuck in the problem. And we also need to acknowledge that when we chose to be a parent, we knew it, that it meant a little bit more work. And in the first few years, a lot of physical work, and the next few years, a lot of emotional work, mental work, right? So I think each one of us knew that we are signing up for this. And we also need to ask ourselves, has anybody received fruits without sowing some seeds? So if I want bananas, or if I want apples or grapes, I need to sow those seeds, right? That is when I will get apple or banana or grapes. But if I am saying I want all the rewards, all the recognitions, all the blessings, then I cannot get it without doing sowing the seeds of various tasks, right? That is when you get the blessings. And other reason is also because of imbalance. Indeed, parenting means we need to give instructions. We also need to show that we are at the highest authority at home. And indeed, it involves a lot of us doing work and also making sure that the kids are also doing their work or helping out at home and doing their own work as well, right? So, yes, it does involve a lot of this, but it becomes a bondage when there is too much of all of this and very little love. So there is an imbalance that we are all about doing, doing, doing. I'm doing this, I'm cleaning, I'm cooking, I am this, I am that, but I'm not able to be happy, be peaceful while I'm doing everything. So at home, I might be someone who's actually contributing the most as a parent. Maybe both the parents are contributing a lot, they are doing a lot for the family, and yet, if they are not enjoying it, if they have a lot of airs about I am doing, I'm cleaning, and yet you don't help, then it is not at all appreciated by the kids. It actually feels like a burden even to them. And if I'm all about giving lot of instructions at every moment, I'm pointing, do this, don't do this is right, this is not right, even for small, small things, if I only have instructions rather than just getting up, being there, and helping them wherever it is, acknowledging that whatever they're doing is right. So there needs to be a balance between just laws, laws, and laws versus cooperation, helping, appreciating when they are doing, even if they're not doing it perfectly, appreciating, oh my gosh, you've gotten so much more better than last week or last month, rather than saying, hey, you could do it. Like, obviously we know as a parent and what is the best way to do it, but it finishes their enthusiasm and spirit if we constantly tell them this is the best way to do it. And then when they start reacting, and then we feel like a bondage. Here I am trying to help them get better. And yet the kids are not appreciating, and we feel like this is, oh my gosh, so much toiling, so much helping, and a bondage. When we create too much of burden on the kids, too much of restriction on the kids, we also end up getting restricted. Lastly, our parents, indeed we are the highest authority. Like, what will keep this home and family safe, healthy? Indeed, we are the highest authority. But we also need to maintain, balance it with humility. When we are not right, acknowledge. Or when we have been incorrect, when we have yelled for no reason, or even if there is a reason we have yelled, be humble and apologize. Let it not always look like I am the commander in chief. And that is when you're generally always a friend, super humble, appreciating their small, small things, not getting over involved in telling them, hey, do it like that, do like this, but let them just have that space and appreciate every little thing. And in fact, I think today's generation is so innovative. They are so smart. If we just give them that little bit of seed, or I would say a little bit of water of, that love and encouragement on their small, small things, they will do wonders. And then we can really be a humble parent and say, oh my gosh, I never knew this and I'm learning this from you. So enjoy every day, being humble, and also cooperating with them and being happy. Otherwise, this is an imbalance that is causing the bondage. And damages from, when we start feeling like we are in a prison, then what starts happening, right? I think we might have all experienced this at some point or the other. Being a parent, home starts feeling like a prison. It's supposed to be like a temple or a church, whatever you want to call it, right? Literally pure and a blessing filled environment. And then it starts feeling so negative when we start feeling this relationship, family has become a burden, bondage, right? Instead of it being a very loving bond, it's become a bondage. um, and then when everything, when relationships feel like a burden, when you feel no point doing, no point saying anything, everything the kids say either no, or they don't appreciate, or they're just doing whatever they want, this is so hard to manage and so on, then indeed relationship starts feeling like a burden. And it leads to, depending upon our personality type, it either leads to depression or aggression, right? So I might either become very, very sad, or I might start showing a lot of anger because I'm frustrated that I am not able to be the person I want to be. I'm not able to enjoy life and I'm blaming it on others, right? So, and in such kind of an environment, when relationships become a bondage, kids also feel it. Kids feel suffocated in such kind of a home because it's a prison for everyone. We might feel like it's become a prison for me, but it actually, when I'm feeling that, the entire family is feeling it. Even though it might look like they're all having a great time, this is again me on creating these dubious thoughts. But when such a thing happens, when kids also feel suffocated being around a parent because they are just too much of restrictions and boundaries in the house, they start relying on friends a lot more. And the most scary part is when they have to make some crucial decisions, instead of coming to the parent, they're relying on friends. And well, it's not a bad thing to rely on friends, but these friends are still pretty young, not as mature and wise, right? So it is pretty scary that instead of relying on an adult, they're relying on kids. So it's a very, very scary situation. And indeed, we ourselves feel like a victim. We feel like constant stress, that there's just too much work, very little reward, and then lot of complaints. We are constantly complaining that I don't get any help, or I have to do everything. Why do I have to do everything? Why can't? So every small little task in the house, There's a negotiation that is going on. Yesterday I did the dishes, today you should be doing it. Or I how come I have to clean up your room, why are you not doing it? So there's a lot of this business like deal that the relationship becomes, instead of a bond, business deal, and then feels like a bondage. And we really are blaming everyone, and constantly we feel very, very resentful towards the family. So instead of feeling love in our heart for the family, we start feeling a lot of frustration. And this is the, I think, the last slide, and we can open it up after this to questions. I do have one example. If nobody has enough questions, we can even go over that. um, so really, like, it's exactly like we said, it was caused by burden of responsibilities, right? And we need to acknowledge that yes, indeed, parenting does require lot more responsibilities. That means lot more chores, tasks, and some of them are monotonous, every day the same thing. And majority of us are not lucky enough to have parents or someone living with us to help us day in and day out, so everything falls on our plate. um, so it's good to create, some really beautiful titles for ourselves. And at Brahmakumaris, we are always, generate a self-respect title for yourself. So instead of thinking of yourself as a helpless poor parent, think about yourself as a brave hero. Really always wear this invisible crown, is what we are told. This crown on your head, that you are indeed a brave hero who's the savior of the family, who not only knows how to survive with all of these responsibilities, but is also there for the family at every moment. And it's indeed, responsibilities are given on people who are mature and capable. And this is my experience, that everyone doesn't get a lot of responsibilities. And negative way to look at it is, why do I only get so much? Look at them, they are having an easy time, gala time. And the positive way to look at it is that, well, I am capable. I am someone who can take a lot of things and still manage everything very beautifully. That is why life puts more on me, because I am capable. And also, more on me means what? If I am sowing so many seeds of cooperation and contribution in this family, who's getting the rewards for it? It's not going to be some outside stranger. It's not going to be someone who's not doing anything. It's going to be me. So if I am sowing the seed of help and cooperation, I am the one who's going to get the blessings in future. And I always use this example of my grandma and my mom. Like, entire life, they've blessed us with wonderful hot, warm meals. And never once have they complained about how much do we cook, how many varieties do we cook for you, everyday warm meal, and you guys don't even say thank you. I've never heard them say that. And I have never personally said thank you to them, to my grandma or to my mom. My mom, yes, I did appreciate her once, but I didn't really say thank you to her. But to date, I know my grandma and my mom are receiving my blessings. Every time I think about those childhood days, how blessed we were and how spoiled, our grandma would make us feel like, every day something or the special that I liked. So she's still getting the blessings. So when I am doing all of this, rather than feeling the burden, I should really remember that if I am doing all this, who am I doing it for? I chose to have a family, and family means responsibilities. And I'm the capable one, the brave one who can take care of everything. That is why I've been chosen to have so many responsibility of a tough child, responsibility of doing a lot of things at home, responsibility of even earning, depends, right? Each one of us is carrying a different kind of responsibility. So when we give it a positive angle to it, we feel this relationship is a bond. And when I feel I shouldn't have so many responsibilities, look at them, they're not doing anything, I shouldn't have to do so much, I don't even get appreciation, I've created a bondage internally. And then lastly, this we said imbalance, right? Imbalance. So as a parent, I need to maintain a balance between everything. It can't be all about doing, 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 and I have no time to be with my kids. Even when I'm sitting and eating family dinner, I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to clean the dishes, I have to put that, then I have to do some office work, and then when will I sleep? I'm so tired. It means I'm only in the doing mode. When am I going to be? And we keep saying, hey, maybe on the weekend, a weekend something else comes, or the kids are in a different mood. When will I be? Or maybe in vacation. That is when I will be. No, every day, I would highly recommend that every day check. Check, did you enjoy your responsibilities or did you find it as a burden? If you found it as a burden, in the night, check, do a journaling. Check, did I enjoy my responsibilities? Did I have fun with it? Did I recognize how much I am earning every moment? When we think about the results, there is a sense of enthusiasm in doing things. But if you think, oh, this is all I'm doing so much, I'm not going to get anything, obviously it feels like a burden. See, some fruit trees give you instant fruits. Some give you a fruit after few months. Some fruit trees takes years before they can give you fruit. So keep doing. Don't see, oh my gosh, the fruit has not come, fruit has not come. It will come, right? And then also check, did I only give instructions, only all about laws? Don't do this, do this. Why did you do this? Why did you not do this? Or did I also help them, appreciate them? Did I also enjoy their company? Did I not call out on their mistake? Even if they made a mistake, did I, instead of reminding the Lord, did I just forgive them? Check every day. If this is becoming heavy, means what? This will go down, right? That means downslide. The bond is becoming a bondage. We need a balance. And it's not exactly that I don't impose any laws in the house and I'm all about love. That is also will cause a different kind of bondage. So for example, the child is really not doing anything special, and every time I'm praising and praising and praising the child, so now the child is full only here, I'm becoming heavy here, and there is nothing here. I'm not telling them, I'm not correcting them, all I do is praise my child. Even when they're not even doing that great, I'm praising. Guess what? This is also a bondage, because the child is now become very dependent on my praises. Now, when he's an adult and goes outside, he will, and if he or she doesn't get that many praises, they're going to feel very, very down, or they're going to become very arrogant about, hey, I am right. I know I deserve a praise. So they will not even accept people's criticism. And hence, yes, I do need to have laws, but this can be a little light, and I feel this can be more heavy. Doing, yes, we have to do a lot of chores, but we need to find that time, early morning, perfect time to embrace them, give them a lot of love. Whole day love is a protection. It protects the aura of the child. When you give a lot of love, they feel very confident. So first thing in the morning, if you give them the protection of love, negativity outside, the peer pressure that they feel outside will not influence them, because they have such solid confidence that love, unconditional love, early morning, beautiful love, starting their day with such a beautiful dose of protection, right? Then otherwise peer pressure gets into kids a lot more easily when they don't feel that security at home. So, lot of being, spending that time with them, end it also in the night, either with a story time, fun time, really in the bed, everybody in the blanket, whatever, find out unique ways to be with the kids. And then authority and humility, we kind of talked about it already, right? That yes, as a parent, we need to call the final shots, but we also need to be humble and recognize kids' beautiful talents, our own mistakes, be humble about it. Say, yes, you were right. You were right when you said we should do it like this. So, when we become humble like that, authority becomes very easy. They listen to us a lot more when we listen to them, right? When we give them importance, they start giving automatically. But if we only focus here, they actually internally have no respect for us, and they can't wait to get out of this house where there is only authority. Everything I am pushing, I'm bossing around, then they can't wait to get out of that particular house. So, with that, pretty much this is the kind of thing that I wanted to go over and spend more time on examples and questions. So, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. Any questions?
So one quick question. So how do we basically, I think the both parents needs to be on the same page, right, while doing the parenting. But if you are not on the same page, how do you basically work through the parenting, particularly when you have teenage kids, when you have to handle the peer pressure and more complicated situations?
Right. If you have an example, it might be good. Otherwise, it becomes too broad and I might be covering too much rather than answering your specific question. Do you have like an example where there might be a conflict? Is this about balance or is this about responsibilities? Where is it the disagreement between the two
I think
parents?
it's more about the balance side.
Yeah, yeah. It does happen that one parent might be more on law and one parent might be more on the love side. And yes, the balance between both is very important for sure. Um, Typically, what really works is, indeed, we all kind of already know that in front of the kids it's best to be our kind of like united front, right? United side. So whichever parent recognizes that we need to be united should remain united, right? And then later talk about the concerns that you might have in a loving manner. And for me, what I have seen, the biggest way this works, right? Suppose at this particular situation in the teenager's life, law was what is needed instead of love, for example. And I do feel law is what is needed this particular time. We shouldn't be so lenient at this point. We need to put our foot down. And the partner thinks, no, it's all about love. It's okay. She's still very small, still very young. We shouldn't be so strict or something like that, right? Um, so the way to really work this out, we are taught at Brahma Kumaris, is really put forward your point why you think. Now go with an open mindedness, right? Open communication means open minded. Otherwise, communication is closed. So if my mind is open, means what? I am going to my spouse to talk about why law is important, but I am open that there is some point I am not understanding. And my spouse might be 100% right that love is what is needed. So I want to understand why love is more important at this point. But at the same time, I want to start off by telling why I think law is important at this particular point. So I go and talk with my spouse with real open mind, explaining why I'm thinking like this, and give them really solid reasons rather than my friend said and this said and that said. Really, your own take at it and explain, and then say, but I also want to understand your perspective, because end of the day, both the parents are really, we are the parents are the only one who can think the best for the child, right? It can't be the grandparents, it can't be anybody else. It has to be both the parents first who will think the best for the child. So I need to maintain this faith that my spouse is really thinking about the best for my child. Nobody else could think better. So I really want to understand why you think at this point love is better. When we go with that kind of open mindedness, and if our point is really strong, it hits them. And suppose it was just their ego that was trying to say, no, love, 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 I don't agree with you, I disagree with you. But when we communicate with so much openness, now with a lot of authority of the reason why we are choosing law, they will feel scared to choose love because you've explained to them what would be the damage of choosing love. And really end it with saying, I think it is law, but I want to understand why you think love. And after listening to them, if you still feel it should be law, tell them, I still feel it should be law, but let's try love and see how it goes. And we can change later if needed. This itself, this way of openly talking with so much sanity inside, changes other people's mind because they can see that sense of confidence and stability coming from us, that if it was just a ego driven decision from them, they will change it. End of the day, a parent does want the best for the child, but there is a lot of internal cleansing that is needed, which is literally no ego, kill the ego inside, that I am right, why is my spouse not getting it? No, we are both wanting the best. I need to maintain that faith and then go have that conversation.
Yeah, I think that's a very good answer. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard to basically come to like a common conclusion kind of thing, right? So, um, but yeah, I think it's a good answer. I think I like the answer.
So, Rupal, I mean, the conclusion, yes, we might not agree, but what we are saying is we agree that both of us have the best interest for the child. Ego says, no, I know better. This other person doesn't know at all. That is ego. I have to maintain this faith that whatever it might be, end of the day, only two of us can want the best for the child. So, this competition that I know better will spoil the relationship not only between the spouse but also between the parent and child. And it's a huge loss for the child. So, we should not ruin a relationship because of another relationship. It ruins both the relationship actually. So, yes, we might agree to disagree, but agreeing with their take and going forward with it generates so much of a positive energy between the spouses that next time it will certainly encourage them to listen to us and agree. And especially if our idea was actually right, it will show up in the future, right? That giving love at that moment was wrong. It will show up in future, and because the other spouse cares too about the child, they will correct their method. So rather than forcefully lecturing and fighting it out, sometimes it has to come in practical. And
But
yeah.
But Sister Meghna, I just on the same lines, like, as a mom, sometimes like what is right for your child at that time, because as a mom, you get those feelings because like, and sometimes the spouse, because they have been raised in a certain way, they think what they're doing is right, and at that point, it's like very hard to keep the balance because your motherly feelings and instincts tells you sometimes what is right and what is wrong, right? So
It does, but it actually deprives the child of the other strengths that come from a father. A child's upbringing is not complete till they don't get the qualities from both the side. They get very dominant in one side, and it's not a well balanced child. You cannot raise a well balanced child if both the qualities are not coming. So if we think majority of the times motherly feelings are right, motherly feelings, and if we keep interfering, then the father after some time will say there's no point me talking only, as if I have no rights. So, no matter how right it seems, unless it's a life threatening thing, I think it's good to back off and wait till they feel, okay, I think you should handle it. So,
that makes sense. Yep, agreed.
yeah.
It gets harder when you're in a joint family, actually, because like you feel three people have similar thoughts and you're like you have to try to find that balance, right? So yeah, but I get your point. It helped me. Thank you.
Yeah, patience, a lot of patience is needed. Ego says, no, you are right, interfere now only and start giving them all lectures. And self respect says, no, everybody in the family has good interest for my child. How lucky is my child? So many people have opinions. That's okay. I can sit on the side, let them take the responsibilities and let me have fun, enjoying them, take care of my child. Right?
Yep. Yes.
Ego doesn't enjoy. Ego says, no, only I should decide. Self respect says, no, oh my gosh, this is so relaxing. So many people to take care of my child. So that is why meditation is very, very important to experience that self respect, that calm and patience. Um, yeah, I can't stress enough on meditation and daily dose of knowledge every day. Read something positive. Yeah.
Sister
Meghna, I
Meghna,
think
I had something
no,
related. Sorry.
Sure, sure. Please.
So, many times between me and my husband, it happens that he feels he is the bad cop and I'm the good cop. He feels he has to make the hard decisions. How do we help that?
Is that like a complaint from your husband that he has to be the
Sometimes,
bad?
yes, he does complain, and
Uh,
maybe I am too soft.
okay, I see, I see. Uh, I mean, so typically what I try to do, it's for me opposite. Sorry, actually not opposite, exact the same thing in our house too. And whenever, so my husband will offer like at times to either take them out somewhere or do this and do that. And my daughter or my son will always say, hey, we'll do this together. Let's do it. You do it. You take us, you do it. So then I very softly and very nicely, without obviously my spouse finding out, I back off and make sure that nothing with me or anything, and make sure that they're going, they're enjoying, they're seeing, and um, also try to show off that positive side in the husband in whatever way I can, right? And they see it, they do know it as well. So I think here we sometimes, if the kids are not seeing it, if we can help them see that angle, then I think it does get better. But maybe it's good for them to bond together, um, just the dad and the kids.
Okay, but does that happen? But because I also do take decisions and which feel tough to me, but I don't feel I only let him do. So why does my spouse feel like that? And I don't know.
So s- I mean, obviously we're not going to be the same at all, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
our unique upbringing and unique personality, so there's never going to be 100% match, and it's possible that um, one spouse is a lot more about instructions versus other spouse is a lot more about love, and obviously the kids will like the loved one more. So it's okay for them to feel like that, but just check if you are interfering a lot whenever there is instructions going on or things like that, and you're trying to be protective or you're trying to save them off. That might be one thing that is causing the thing. Or
Mhm.
if there are certain laws where both of you have agreed that this is it, this is very important law, then make sure that you are correcting whenever he's not around also, or even when both of you are around, take the initiative to correct, right? If you agree. And if you don't agree at all, then yes, be open about it, that hey, these kind of things I cannot be the hard person because I don't agree in it. Have that open communication that these things I agree, so even I'm going to speak up, but you have too many things and I don't agree. So openly tell that why for me, my upbringing, I can never be strict on these things. I feel it is not useful. So when the parent knows, when the spouse knows why you can't be the strict on everything, why you disagree, then maybe they see it in reality, right? Yes, you disagree. That is why you're not going to stop them.
Mm. That helps. Thank you.
Okay, let's take one example. This is where, we are feeling really bondaged because we are doing a lot, we are toiling a lot, we are cooking for the family, we are cleaning, we're doing, getting the money in the house, taking them to classes, everything, but the child is complaining that the parents are mean and have never been there for them, right? So what do you do in this kind of situation? And the child is, I feel this is one of the very common word that the kids use, coming close to the teenager, or maybe not even close to the teenager, 8 to 10 years also I've heard them. You're so mean. You're so mean is a favorite word I've heard from so many kids, not only just my kids, but I've heard it from so many kids. And you never do anything nice for me. And then it starts, right? The whole thing starts. So, in this kind of situation, if I don't want to feel the bondage, how do I feel bonded even in this kind of situation? What are few things I can do? Question for you all. Very quiet, huh? All right. I'm just going to kind of display like few order of things. This is not really you can be in any order or try your own methods also. These are some suggestions here. At that particular moment when the child is fuming, right? And they're trying to be mean or whatever, maturity says, wisdom says it's best not to respond at all, not even correct them or anything, unless it's really obnoxious and very disrespectful and rude. We can maybe just say, it looks like you're not at all in a great mood. Please go to your room and relax. I don't want to listen to you talking to me like that, whatever that might be. But generally, if they are in okayish boundary, they're not cross that boundary, best to not respond at all. Um, and then rather than starting my bondage in the mind, right? Oh my gosh, how much I do, this I do, that I did, this I did, and still they're complaining and they're calling me mean. That's creating a bondage in the mind. So rather than creating a bondage inside, check if the kid is complaining so much that I am being mean. Did I have again an imbalance? Have I constantly been telling them that I have to do this for you, I have to do this for you, blah, 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 right? If I keep telling all of this, then it might look like for the child it's very heavy. Priya, go ahead, please. Okay, maybe accidental. Um, so right, if I've used some kind of imbalance in the upbringing, either too authoritative, too many instructions, too much of doing, keeping them constantly busy, never had that me time, being happy and peaceful, fun with the family. It's only in the vacations. And we can't actually, vacations cannot be fun unless every day we are having fun. It actually becomes a lot of even more battles. I've heard from so many families that they fight even more once they go on vacation, because every day everybody is busy in their own rooms, we don't know. But there in vacation, suddenly you're all in one room, lot more fights happen. So the being time is important. Check in the upbringing. If the child is so complaining, is it really that? And then have an honest conversation. If you feel really, I haven't never done anything, this child just looks like one ungrateful child, then have a honest conversation with the child. Typically these kind of conversations don't start with a very young child, and if they're really tiny and calling us mean, that's a different story. But if it's a 10 to 12 or bigger child, then it's good to have that conversation and understand, why do you feel like that? Why are you blaming and why are you talking like this? um, that and sometimes it's good to remind them, like, when the kids go through this age of really growing up to be a teenager, there's a lot of insecurities that arise in them. If Well, one is that yes, we might have given them a lot of love and security, but suppose that was not enough and they are seeing a lot of pressure in the school, whether it is academic, social, sports, whatever related. If they are feeling a lot of that pressure, then it could be a way of saying that I need that security, I need that love. They're seeking attention, right? So I feel it is humble. It's again requires humility to say, why do you ever think you are the most important person? You're the bond between you and me is the most important, right? Why would you think that we don't care? Um, and then really become a team and say, hey, I can do this, but you need to get better in the way you talk and respond and communicate, right? You can't be using this kind of language. You can't be blaming. You need to acknowledge what all the parents have already done. um, so we do want to encourage them to, yes, it's good, right, that they bring up these issues, that they're feeling the frustration, rather than them going and complaining to friends, hey, one bunch of meanie my parents are. I would rather they come and tell me, right? At least I have a chance of correcting. Here I am thinking I'm the best parent, and it's not, that message is not at all hitting the kid. It can't be all that the kid is wrong and ungrateful, right? There must be something that I need to change as well. So just cleaning and cooking doesn't mean I'm a great parent. Just driving them around to classes and I'm paying the fee doesn't mean I'm a great parent. That is just a part of responsibility. Parent, basically, the most important thing for a parent is to give them this security of love, that I will be there for you. I am always there on your side to help you to grow up and boost their confidence. That's the main role of the parent, right? Being encouragetive, supportive, constantly guiding them, being there for them when they're going through emotional chaos. It's not about just cleaning, cooking, and that. Yes, that is part of it. And maybe we need to simplify it. If that is all is taking our time, if my work is taking too much time, I need to simplify it. Why am I overworking? I need to ask myself, because these are important years to put that water of love in the relationship. We just have about a minute. Any last minute thoughts or questions? All right, well, practice meditation if you have a minute. I am a beautiful, kind, and wise parent. The relationship with the child is a sweet bond, and I protect this bond with a lot of love and attention. The bond is not just based on the work, the things we do. The bond tightens when there is respect, cooperation, and love in the relationship. And the bond becomes a bondage when I, the parent, become bossy, commanding, and all about doing, and more doing. I'm a wise parent, and I choose to stay balanced. I'm a brave hero that can take up many responsibilities, handle them beautifully. I am sowing many beautiful sweet seeds in my child's life. The fruits of blessings are bound to come. I'm a fortunate parent that is in a loving bond with the children. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Next week is a holiday, no class because it's Diwali. So we will meet on November 22nd. So hope you have a great evening and a great Diwali if you celebrate it.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Thank you, Om Shanti sister.
Thank you.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.